You should have seen that
coming.
I had to see that.
I was waiting. I was like, what we gonna do today?
That's like I think of these. That's like part of
I'm sure you do.
So
especially after my reactions all the time.
So welcome. We didn't do this for the Christmas episode. Welcome to the Double BS podcast.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention the name of the podcast. So of course I'm your friendly Shmoo, joined as always across the bar from a man, Matty.
What's popping? I'm sure everybody knows. If they're tuning in, I guarantee they know.
We need more of you to tune in, though.
But thank you for tuning in and listening to us yamble.
Yeah.
We like to do that a lot.
Today's episode, I should say, because it'll be daytime when you hear this. We're going to talk about 2020.
A review.
We're winding down the year that everybody loved so much. As part of that, so of course we all know that I tend to start every episode and I introduce Matt into a different beer. But because of how sucky 2020 is, I'm going to go easy on them. Matty, you just enjoy them ice cold Coors Lights tonight.
I'm good with that.
You just Coors Latte, my friend.
You ain't ever going to twist my arm for that, bro.
We're going to be reviewing, so I'm not even doing beer. I'm just going straight vodka. That's how 2020 makes me feel. Bro. I will do a shout out. This is Blonde Brothers. They're out of Galena, and they make some lovely spirits. They make a whiskey. They make this vodka. They make two different kinds of vodka. They make a bourbon. The bourbon is top notch. It's really expensive, but mostly worth it.
Good bourbon is very worth it.
Yeah, but this is smooth enough. I mean, you saw me pour this in. This is some ice cubes and vodka. There's nothing.
He was about 3 fingers deep.
That's all right. We're gonna get deeper because 2020 went more than 3 fingers deep in us this year, my friend.
Balls deep.
So here we go. So there's no. Well, here we go. So how was your Coors Light? How do you rate that? We got the new 10 scale now. So we got to give it the new rating.
We got the new 10 scale.
Who just started off this one?
What did we do out of 5? Was it a 45?
I think it was a 45 out of 5.
Yeah. I don't know. Miller Coors, I can't ever thank you enough for giving me the silver bullets and having them in my life. They are absolutely delicious.
Yes, they are.
You wanted me to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10?
1 to 10. Matty rating. Here we go.
I'll give you 100.
I figured you would. That's kind of a... I'm not going to disagree. I like
no.
Coors Light.
I mean, and I don't branch out as much. Pete introduces me to a lot of new stuff, but I tend to stick to what I like. I'll have a 6-pack every now and then. Sam Adams makes a great cold snap in the winter.
Oh, that is good.
Do like a little Blue Moon every now and then.
And I do have a couple I picked up on the way to work today because with the weather and stuff, I knew we weren't going to be busy. We ain't doing squat. So I left early and stopped at the old Hy-Vee and picked up a lovely 12-pack variety pack from Odell Brewing Company. And there's actually 2 beers in there that I think you might like. One I know because it's more on that fruity side, and then there's another one that's more of like a lager, so not the hops and stuff like that. So it might be rating well. So
see, I'm not a big fan of the fruity stuff. I mean, I do enjoy the taste sometimes.
Yeah, this is more of a sour, so this is a little bit different. This got that tart to it.
Leinenkugel actually makes a very good raspberry beer.
Yes.
Ooh, it's very tasty.
Their ginger shandy, delicious. It's delicious. Oh, so good.
Ginger
shandy. I know that's the same face I made when someone told me about it, and I'm telling you right now. Think like ginger ale.
Okay.
Like ginger ale.
Not bad. All right. Yeah.
In a beer. Like it's kind of in that wheelhouse.
Excuse me. I'd give it a shot.
God, this vodka's good.
It's alcoholic.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I'll take a swig.
Not like us. Because here's the thing. I learned this. Alcoholics need a drink. That's kind of the thing. They need a drink. They have to have
I don't need one.
I have one.
I want one.
I'm good. I have one. I'm good. So 2020. So we're just gonna kind of run through, guys. We're just gonna kind of start at the beginning of the year and just kind of flow through the year. Probably not a month by month, but just kind of as the year goes.
We're going to try to make this as light as possible because I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree that 2020 just kind of
sucked.
Basically shoved our heads in the sand and, rubbed it in there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day...
But we're going to review it,
I said, at the end of the day, like I tried to explain the last time, you try to think positively and be positive. I still got to wake up today and go to work, which was not what I wanted to do, but I still got to do it. There are bright points in 2020 that I got to experience that I'm super grateful for.
And I think some of the, what would be considered bad stuff, you and me look at, it kind of sucked, but there's a spin that we put on it.
It's always a silver line.
That made it fun. So,
and you always got to, you're going to find a positive and try to find a positive in everything you can.
And I think both of us, individually and collectively, tend to do that very well. I think that's what makes this friendship work so well, is we can kind of see that, and it's fun. So let's go, 2020. So almost a year ago, it was New Year's Eve. Well, it would be a year ago now that you're listening. So a year ago, last night. This morning. I was in bed, but the country was celebrating.
So was
us. 2020. Here we are. We're a new decade in a new millennia. So 2019, we're on to the 20s.
I'm too old to see that ball drop at midnight anymore.
Yeah, okay, I won't see it this year either.
Nope.
I know I probably will in a couple years when the girl's a little older. We'll stay up and do that with them. I know my
parents. It depends. I most of the time.
Yeah.
It's just another night to me at the moment.
Exactly.
If I have my kids, it's we're good. Happens to be this year. I had to work, so I get home at 7. You think I'm gonna stay up till midnight when I got to go be back at 5:30, or I got to wake up at 5:30 in the morning? I'm not doing that.
So
I don't care. It's gonna drop whether I'm awake or not.
Exactly. When it dropped,
have fun.
I feel like, normal years the ball drops in Times Square and everybody's like, Happy New Year! It's gonna be a great New Year.
Oh, well, everybody begins every year like that.
And then it's the New Year, New Me you hear all the time. Little did we know when that ball dropped, that was more of a bomb. So, of course, we came in, the winter wasn't
horrible, I don't think.
Cruddy. Because I remember December 29th of 2019, I was on the motorcycle for 250-some miles.
My son's birthday.
Awesome. Happy birthday. That's today.
December 29th. I'm sorry, January 29th.
Okay, December 29th.
Oh, yeah.
December.
You were on the bike in December?
December 29th last year. Me and Noodles went. We went 200. I went 252 miles. He went a little farther because he came from Morrison. Yeah, we went up to Route 73 Broom Shoe up by Pearl City. Mm-hmm. We went to Monroe, Wisconsin, to Minhas Brewery. Ended up in New Glarus Brewery, and then worked our way back. Stopped in Dubuque, and then made it back to DeWitt, and so forth. So yeah, we go into there, and the winter wasn't that bad. We got January was great. February was great. We kind of started getting about mid-February.
Well, beginning of January, in January, February, I was in the house hunting mode.
Yeah.
Because I lived in my apartment, and I was just, I've been doing it for,
Because when did you close on your house?
March 27th. And I had been searching for a house, 2019. We're talking, I was looking at them in August, September, October. Just couldn't find something that I wanted that,
And what?
When you buy a house, you walk into that house, and you're like, this is it.
Yeah.
And I had looked through, and I had the greatest realtor ever, Daniel Lind, local Remax guy out of Comanche. He's amazing. Very, 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 very patient with me. Because he's like...
Our realtor is the same.
I understand. He's like this. I want you to be happy. I got to find something for you. So he was like, whenever I called him, he's like... And after I bought my house, it was hilarious because he's like, it's weird not getting texts from you every week. Like, hey, I got another house I want to look at. He's like...
Oh, that's bad. Ours was like daily.
But happened to be, when I did buy my house, it didn't even hit the market. I was looking at a house.
That's right. He brought it to your attention.
I was looking at a house, and he was like, I was like, this ain't going to work. So let's just move along. He's like, I have one that's going to hit the market today at 1 o'clock. And this was 10 o'clock in the morning. So he's like, let's go see it. So I went and saw it. and I was signing the offer papers at 1:45.
Nice. So when that was going on, I want to say it was probably February that we started hearing COVID-19.
I did not hear it until March.
Coronavirus. I mean, there was kind of the rumblings in the news. There was
See,
this, and it was very prevalent overseas. It hadn't really made its way over here very much. Of course, we got into March, and then we started seeing cases in the United States, things like that. Of course, there was the, our school's going to stay in session.
see, I didn't hear anything until the schools were going to close, and I'm like, what are we doing?
I'm trying to remember when they closed.
What for?
Like,
and then it was brought to my attention, because I know people are going to be like, well, you're not informed. I don't watch the news. It depresses me. And you're going into 2019. This is an election year. I'm like this. I can't watch this stuff. Like, everything, mass media and the mainstream media is just nothing but negativity. And I'm like this. I'm good. Okay.
And
I got to go to work. I got to provide for my family. I got to do this. And as long as I'm, doing that, well, the world's going to keep spinning. So
I don't even remember when the kids got cut out of school. Like, was that in March?
No.
Like, were they still in school when you were moving? When we were moving you?
No, because I was doing, excuse me. There we go. I was doing their online schooling in my apartment. So it was in March.
So I
want to say it was
so
like
when I was off work.
First or second week of March, maybe?
I'm trying to think. Was I off work when we moved you? I don't know. It was somewhere in there. Because, of course, you were moving. The kids were out of school. It was trying to figure out how to do this homeschool thing. And at the same time, my job said, hey, here's the deal. Mm-hmm. We're not going to be busy. We're going to be, quote unquote, closed to the public. So, you might as well, if you want to come into work, that's fine. But, if you want to take a layoff, because at the time it was it was right before I let off, because I was talking to your brother about the extra $600 unemployment.
Right.
And then that hit, and I'm like, okay, this isn't so bad. Because we were able to get a little bit ahead. But I spent 3 weeks out of work. Again, at that point, things weren't quite as shut down, even as they are now.
Yeah, you didn't really get into that.
There wasn't really, like, the mask thing wasn't a big deal. The going out in public wasn't that big of a deal. And at that point, I honestly didn't even take it that seriously.
No.
It was just like, whatever, we're just kids are out of school, we're trying not to pass it along, stuff like that.
When did the quarantine hit? Like, the first part where they're like, just don't move for 14 days. Because I'm like, well, I can't do that.
Well, I think that was
my job won't allow me to do that.
During that layoff, because and then when we came back, when I came back, we were very much every day. Governor Reynolds was very much every day on her thing on YouTube. CDC was throwing stuff out there, and that was, I think, March to May was really that kind of big part of the bubble where we're learning how to do this.
Yeah.
We were still learning how to do it, but
everybody was talking about the people that do have to go to work, the frontline workers. Like, you can't say nothing about healthcare workers. I have many of them in my family, and they all had to go to work. And I don't ever want to consider. My wife had to go to work. I don't want to ever consider myself. What does my job label us? The food hero. Yeah, we got a bonus for that, but it was an essential, and I'm like, essential. I make high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah.
But everybody was like, there's hazard pay, and my company was like, if donuts, you guys want some donuts?
Yeah. Kathy, my wife, she, and I would definitely consider this. I would consider her essential. She working at a grocery store. That was very essential because people needed.
Especially when you work in the meat department. It was like that was one of my favorite places to go.
They technically
because if I can't go anywhere to eat, if I can't do anything,
they considered everybody in retail, so that would include me, essential. But I don't really put myself in there because like, well, you work with the public.
Right.
Yeah, but we're a specialty kind of.
Well, I kind of understood
niche,
when they were like, when my company was like, you got to come to work, you got to make this stuff, because you look in pretty much everything. High fructose corn syrup is in it.
It's not good for you.
I know. But it's in almost everything. It's something we make in that plant.
It's not my vodka.
In something we make in that plant
it's not in your beer.
Is in everything. Don't make me look.
I guarantee it's not. I'm sure it is. So now there is corn. There is corn in my vodka, but not high fructose corn syrup. So I think the big one was, you get through that that first couple months, really, with the kids being out of school, and they were talking about, like, they were trying to tell you, like, don't go a lot of places. You know, if you don't need to be out and about, don't be out and about.
Right.
You know, we were pretty fortunate that we have, you know, the big yard, so the kids were able to run around. But even then, you know, you could tell with doing the homeschool stuff and having to do that and not having that daily interaction. And then when they finally said schools are done, they're not going back. Because that was like, it was supposed to be closed for 3 weeks.
Yeah, it ended up being off for like 5 or 6. And,
well,
you know, what we always say is to spin it to a positive. I will, like, everybody, a lot of people bitched about the kids being homeschooled. And I understand if you have a parent and you have to go to work, it's hard, especially if you have younger kids, for them to be home and be able to do the schooling online. But my kids, my younger two in the elementary school, they made it real easy. Like, you know, just do it when you can. It's all posted on Google Classroom. And the positive spin I took on it was I had Google Classroom and that parent portal thing down pat by the time this thing was done. Like, I knew how to get into everything. I knew how to roll. I mean, I had my kids set up. Boom, you're ready to rock. Let's do this.
I didn't like the first round. I liked this new round was better.
By the time I got into it, by the time I got adjusted to it, I was like, I got this down pat. And and you know, me having, you know, shared custody with my ex-wife, and when she was there, she was working from home. Well, it's kind of hard for her to work from home and then be able to help the kids doing their online schooling. So I was like, I got it all done in the 2-3 days that I had them. I'm like, don't worry about it, I got you. And I rolled like through
over a weekend. Like, they dropped it on, you know, whatever, like, or they dropped it on like a Monday. It had to be turned on a Friday, where initially it was like, oh, it's due the next Monday. Mm-hmm. So, like, we had the weekend, we would get it done, and then they changed it. But I remember that first, when the schools were first closing down for that initial, you know, I think it was through April 13th, I seem to remember the date. My folks, who are, of course, both retired, they're like, well, with, you know, Kathy working with the public, and with you working with the public, and because they watch them a couple days a week, they're like, well, would it be easier just while... Because it was over spring break. Mm-hmm. It was spring break, that's when it was. So they were supposed to take them out on a spring break trip, which of course got canceled. Like, well, why don't we just keep them here for 2 weeks?
Right.
And of course,
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, part of me was like, it was like, whoa, like a little break, you know, it's just me and the wife, you know, with twins, it's hard. With kids, period, it's hard. It's just, they're always there. It's just kind of a nice little break. Well, a nice little break lasted about 3 days. After about 3 days, it was okay. Because when we would go see the kids, like, we'd go to my folks and we'd be out on that screened-in porch. And so we'd sit out on the porch, and then they'd be in, they have the sliding door there to the house. We'd basically sit 6 feet back from that sliding door. They'd have the screen, and then they would sit, the girls would be right there in front of the screen, we'd be on the porch. That was it. There was no hugs, no smooches, no nothing.
That'd drive me nuts.
So basically, like visiting your kids in prison.
Yeah.
I mean, is what it was. So it sucked. But, you know, I mean, they got to spend time with Gigi and Papa. And then finally, when, after 2 weeks, was then when my job said, well, hey, we're going to, sorry, my ice maker's clicking away. We're going to, you know, you're going to, some time off. So then I had 3 weeks where, like, all day, every day was me. Which wasn't, like, the first week not bad. By like, halfway through week 2, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, the first part, you're always like this. Well, I get this done, and you're getting things done, and finally you run out of things to do.
See, and I don't. I had always had plenty of stuff to do. It was keeping them entertained, keeping them going. That was kind of the tougher part, you know, because at the time they were 5. You know, they're still are kids, but I mean, they're 5 years old. They're twins.
Yeah, they're 6 now.
They don't know much, you know. So we had that going on, and then it was like Wednesdays was Kathy's day off, so it's like Wednesday morning would roll around. I'd get up and have my coffee. I'm like, I'm out. She goes, where are you going? I said, I don't know, but I'm getting on the bike and I'm leaving. And she said, where are you going to go? I said, I don't know. Everywhere's closed, but I'm going to go somewhere. And I would just ride. I'd just take the day and I'd go ride. I mean, I got really good with where all the Casey's are. So I basically stop at a gas station, go inside, grab a thing of water, pee, and then on to the next one. So I just did that. I mean, on our days off. So, but that was the other part of it too.
It doesn't sound very rough.
You know, going into riding season, for me, being a motorcycle guy, nowhere was open. There wasn't anywhere to go. I mean, it's typically like, okay, I'm going to go to this brewery, or I'm going to go to this place, and we ride to this place, or we plan a day of riding. We have like our spots we hit. You know, we go to Old Chicago, we do this, we do that. You couldn't go anywhere.
Right.
Everything was close. Where are we going to ride to? You just ride the roads and like, well, we used to go there. Okay, let's just keep going. Well, we used to go there. Well, let's just keep going. But again, the silver lining part of it was you almost learned to enjoy the ride a little bit more. It became a little bit less, and not that I don't enjoy the ride. The ride's awesome. That's the best part. But it's like I was always so focused on, okay, this is where we're going. So your mind was just, okay, your beautiful scenery, things going on. This is where we're going. Where now it's like, okay, well, we're going here, but I'm going to go anyway. So you were more focused on the ride. So, like, you were seeing things that, I've been on this road, shit 100 times on the bike. Never noticed that before. Oh, there's a great view. Never seen that before. So that was nice.
It opens up your perspective.
Yeah. Exactly
it broadens the horizon, broadens the view.
Yeah, so that was, good. And then, of course, we got a small break, like late spring, early summer, where things opened back up a little bit.
Yeah, I remember.
So we had some outdoor eating.
A little bit to like 50% capacity or whatnot, stuff like that. Yeah.
And I remember that because as soon as that happened, my favorite Iowa brewery, Chop and Goliath, up in Decorah, I was on their Facebook. It was, yep, we're open for outdoor seating, this, that, whatever. And I called a couple of guys at the club. I was like, I'm going this Sunday to Chop and Goliath for lunch. And I mean, like, for lunch. I said, how far away is that? I'm like, no, it's like 3 hours. You're going to ride 3 hours to get lunch? Well, you're darn right I'm going to ride 3 hours to get lunch. And we did. I mean, we rode. It was great. It was a lovely ride. And we went up there, and it was great. And then shortly after, things kind of shut back down again. I mean, it was I think that's really the tale of 2020 is the ups and the downs and the ups and the downs.
See, and I mean, I have a different view, but it's kind of the same view. I think 2020 as a whole sucked.
Still does.
But I didn't have a lot of ups and downs. Like my life, I was one of the few people that my life was still the same. It's not that I don't want to say this, like I don't venture out a lot. I like to go places, but you couldn't. So it was like, it's not a big deal to me. I like, of course, when I got my house, I met my neighbors, which turned out to be two, awesome people with two great children that became great friends of mine. And we like to sit outside. And of course I had the fire pit that I built in the yard, and they got a fire pit. And my sister's now fiance.
Ooh.
Yeah. Congratulations again, Courtney and Steve. Love you both. Yeah. He was moving. They ended up buying a house, and he was buying a new smoker, so he gave me his smoker. I had never really gotten into that. I was just typically a grill guy. Still had my Weber, still had the gas grill. Got rid of the gas grill when I got that smoker, learned how to do stuff like that. And I found a new hobby.
And that was your Z grill?
Yeah. I'm like, I found a new hobby.
And that worked out really well for me, too.
It worked out really well for a lot of people, especially me. I got to, I don't know. It sit outside, smoke cigars, drink beer, have a fire, smoke ribs, pork butts, pork bellies. I started following my favorite guy, How to Barbecue Right Malcolm, on YouTube to learn how to make some of the stuff that he makes. And kind of, I said I never really smoked anything, never really got into the, that whole thing with the barbecue. And now it's one of my favorite things to do is learn how to do that and try a recipe out and try new things on a smoker. And basically, there's nothing you can make in your house that doesn't taste better off the smoker. If you can make it in a crock pot, you can make it in an oven. You can make it in a smoker.
I was going to say pancakes, but you can't really make pancakes on them.
Want to bet?
I can make pancakes on my...
You can cold smoke them.
Oh, you could, yeah. Oh, yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Well, when IQ told me about that, and then I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then Tony got into talking with my brother, got into talking with me about it, and it was cold smoking. You just kind of light the little smoker thing in there, and he wants to cold smoke a couple blocks of cheese. And
well, I think the nice thing about that, with you getting that, of course, and turned around for me, and at the time, like I was like always like, oh, I kind of want to get into that, and years ago we looked at getting a pellet grill, and pellet grills were still new. They weren't as big as they are now. But I ended up with a Blackstone because that, with the flat top grill.
I still want one of those.
Yeah, but it was like that's something that the wife can use, and
And you can just do so many
yeah.
things on it that are. I mean, it's not like having a smoker where you got to put it on there, set it,
Yeah,
check on it, and smoke it. But the Blackstone holds a lot more possibilities, like smash burgers, pancakes, and bacon and stuff that you like. Eggs you can just do out there, and I like a burger with
and it's not,
fried egg on top of it. Well, you can do all of that. You can do everything.
Apart, it's not falling in the grates.
Right.
So you're not worried about that. You're cleaning the top.
I mean, it's just basically a giant griddle.
Yeah, and it seasons like that too.
That's really, one of my favorite things to cook on.
Yeah, I love it.
I know you can cook anything on it. I mean, I still have to get one of those, and I will buy one.
So that was kind of the big thing with us is, with you getting your smoker, I was just one of those. I'm eventually going to get into smoking, and you had the Weber Tower, whatever that thing is.
Yeah, because
I'm going to throw it away if you don't want it. I'm like, I'll take it.
When Steve bought one, my brother ended up buying I think the same one. So he had the Weber smoker that you have.
Something.
He had the Weber smoker that you have.
Yeah.
Steve eventually gave the Z-Grill to my father. My father complained and didn't want it, and I'm like, look, all right, I'll take it. And when I moved in the house, I think it was the first day we moved up there. We put it up there because the day we moved in, we smoked 2 pork butts on it, and never left.
The next day you did. You did the next day. It was the day after you moved in because I helped you move, and it was the next day you were doing
Yes. Because I met my brother up there.
Yeah.
We didn't stay there that Friday.
Nope.
It was Saturday when we smoked everything. Right. But that never left my house.
Yeah.
And my dad to this day, he's like this, but you're really glad you kept that, aren't you? I'm like, well, yeah, because I friggin' love it, and I can't. But Tony got a new one, and he was like, here.
Yeah.
He brought it up there, thinking my dad was going to take that one back, or I was going to give it back to him, and then I was like, I think I'm just going to keep this.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, I don't know what I'm.
Many times.
And Tony's like, well, if you're going to do that, just throw that one away. Well, you happen to be up there, and I'm like this. Hey, you want that one?
Yeah. And
take it.
Now, with this weird year, I did only get to use it the once. But I did my first, I did a pork butt.
Well, I used it.
Yeah, used it when we did one, but it was the first time I'd ever used it, and I had an absolute blast.
It's fun to learn, just like something especially if you have that interest in something you want to learn.
It was very tedious. My first one, I was like constantly, I'm out there.
You have to, especially with a charcoal, because it's a charcoal smoker.
Because you remember though, I didn't have a probe when I started.
Right.
Like I got about 3 hours in, I'm like, all right, no. And I, mid-smoke, ran to Home Depot to get a probe.
Yeah, but now, you look at it, it's like those got to sit there for a while.
Yeah. Which the probe was great.
Because I remember, what time did I stop by here? Like 7 in the morning?
Yeah, I was already rolling.
When you were throwing that on, it had already been on there for like an hour?
Yes. I was already rolling.
I got off work, and I'm like, let's do this.
It was good.
We were trying to figure out the vents and everything, and like I said, I told Tony, and he'd used that thing for years, so...
Oh, yeah. Season. First time I got it, I opened it up and I got home, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
That's the fun thing I love about my smoker is whenever I smoke something and I put it back in the garage, and the next day when I go into my garage, it's like...
It's so good.
Oh, barbecue. Thank you.
So anyway, we digress a little bit there. Always on smoke.
See, we always say, as much as we want to complain about 2020...
Yeah, there was some good stuff.
We have great memories of this year that we got to...
Yeah.
Trust me, in essence, the whole year.
Well, and okay, so here's the thing. So with that too, we got the extra money on unemployment. We also got that first round of stimulus. So that was great. We ended because the girls were.
I did a lot of things to my house for that.
Yeah, we got the girls a gazebo. Or no, we didn't. We got the girls a play set.
Here, girls, have a gazebo.
Me and my wife got ourselves a gazebo and some other things. We paid some bills with some other stuff, but. We used it to stimulate the economy, much like we're doing with the one we're getting. I
stimulated the crap out of Home Depot with that.
Oh yeah, so
I was there every other freaking day.
Yeah, so we did that, and then of course, so that all happened, and then it seemed as if 2020 was maybe starting to the ship was starting to right itself, and then August 10th happened.
Yeah. Well, before you go there.
Oh.
I want to go back to...
I was there.
I know. I want to go back to, I didn't hold it until, I think, July. But, one of my, favorite parts of 2020 was my oldest... Well, my oldest daughter. That, too. Oh. That big cookout we had, because I was like, I got it. Especially with Nate and Stacy. Nate and Stacy was there. Justin got to come home. First time I'd seen Justin in... 5 years,
awesome
at least
him.
more than that. And it was so nice to see him. So nice
I
to
got
sit
seen
out,
twice this year.
sit out in the garage or sit out in the driveway and smoke cigars and
he
just
brought
by
some
the
good cigars,
by the fire pit. He did.
And he brought some good beers.
I mean, Nate turned me on to cigars with his
good.
buddy Zach, and we ordered some. And good Lord, I can't
So
wait to do
good.
that again. But my oldest daughter, Olivia, she graduated high school.
That's right.
So got to throw my child a first grad party, which I thought was a pretty big success. We had fun. Was proud to watch her walk across the stage, even though it wasn't the same as having everybody in there and you watching the whole class get up. It was just
and the choir. And the band
you go in and she was, but I mean. Gary's up there in the handshake, and I got pictures, and she's standing there in her robe and gown, or the hat and everything, and that was a huge super dad moment for me. Like, it's my daughter, the girl I've known since she was 3 years old.
Yeah, I've got a few years before.
She's not biologically mine, but she's mine. Yeah. I love that little girl to death. She's not little anymore, but super proud of her because she's always she has the. I'm hard on her.
I love the name too. I'm kind of partial.
I'm hard on her just like I'm hard on my son now. I mean, my oldest boy, he's 14, but I was hard on her because she has so much potential that she's just, I think, sometimes fails to realize or fails to untap.
Sounds like some other people we know.
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of them.
So, and I forgot about this. So,
super proud of her.
So, good silver lining there. So, I think we fast forward again.
Yeah, well, I could go on to August 10th. Tell them what happened, because I'll tell you what I was doing that day.
That's what I'm going to do. We're talking the same thing.
I know, but
so I'm going to kind of start my part of it, and then if you got to interject in the timeline, we're going to have to bounce a little bit because I want this day. This is a pretty big day.
I'll stop you at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Okay, I know where you're at. I'll cue you in. So August 10th. It was Monday.
Well, what time did you wake up?
It doesn't matter.
Well,
I woke up in the morning.
This was a Monday where I was working Saturday, Sunday, Monday night. So I got home at 7:00 in the morning.
Okay.
Took a shower, went to bed.
Okay.
A normal day.
Gotcha.
I have to go to work Monday night, so I was like, whatever.
So you went to bed about the time I was getting up with the girls.
8:00 maybe.
Yeah. Oh, I was already up then. So
maybe I
I'm up
delayed
at that, and I decided, like, hey, you know what? Me and the girls, we're going to go on an adventure. My buddy Don had been telling me for a long time about a place over in East Moline called Central Store. Great craft beer store. You gotta go. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I grabbed the girls in their masks. I'm like, let's go down, because Illinois was masks. So we were gonna go down. I was like, well, I was gonna hit there, check it out. And then I figured on the way back, we'd hit a fun place for lunch. I figured I was gonna take, River Road on the Iowa side down, and River Road on the Iowa side, or the Illinois side back. Just kind of a fun road trip, Dad and the girls.
Right.
So, that was the thought. Of course, and as I'm up and moving, I'm checking my phone, and I get a text from my sister, like, yeah, we had this storm out here in our neighbor's trees in our front yard. I'm like, your neighbor, what? They had this real bad storm. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, it's coming your way. I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to get a little wind. No big deal, right? I'm like, we're going to get this storm.
Yeah, no big deal.
So, I get up, this, that, whatever. I'm reading the warnings. Yep, storm's supposed to get here like 3 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. We're going to leave, at this time. It's going to work. It's going to be great. So we hop in the car, we get in the van, we're excited. We're ready to go. Girls are excited. I'm excited. They're thinking fun lunch, road trip. I'm thinking beer.
No way.
So we take off. Now we're going down 67. My dad calls and he goes, hey, if you got stuff that needs to get tied down, you're gonna want to tie it down. And this is a little before noon, and I'm like, okay, cool. Yep, the winds are coming. It's in Cedar Rapids now. This, that, whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever.
See, the funny thing is I know Ronnie just like I know my father, and he's gonna be like, hey, this needs to happen, and you're gonna be the same way I'm like, all right, I got you. Don't worry about it, Pop. I'll get to it.
Yeah. So we're
no clue, because he's like this. You don't understand.
Well, I don't think anybody understood.
I don't think. Well,
because at the time,
no,
the
not to
storm
that.
was just kind of hitting Cedar Rapids.
Not to that extent.
So we didn't know. So I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking, okay, gazebo mixture's good. Something's gonna blow around the yard. So I called Kathy. She was on lunch in the afternoon. I'm like, hey, there's winds coming. It's supposed to be kind of heavy. So if you can get put away, slid away, tied down, whatever. Just do that. Didn't even think like, maybe I should turn around. Maybe whatever. So
before you go, the extent of that storm. You've never seen it.
No. Well, we haven't got to the storm yet.
So why would you? But I'm talking your anticipation. Why would you ever think that? It would never cross your mind. Basically, what you got was a hurricane in the Midwest.
Not basically. That's exactly what it is. The ratio.
Right, but basically what you got was a hurricane in the Midwest. Never experienced that. Nope. Never would have crossed your mind.
We haven't, but it's happened one other time in Iowa. No. That's where the name came from.
No kid.
Well, not from Terry's Wheels on the 97X on the morning show one morning. Shortly after that. So we're going down, and we're down there, and the weather looked like it was turning a little bit, but not a big deal. And I'm talking to the owner. I got the girls out to the van. The sirens started going off. I'm like, well, I should probably get going. And this guy keeps yapping about whiskeys and beers. I'm like, okay, you've got my attention. I really want to listen to what you're saying, because you know your shit. But I really got to get going.
At the same time, you need to shut up so I can go.
So we leave, and so we're heading back, and I tell the girls, like, hey, girls, there's a storm coming. We're not going to be able to stop for lunch. We're just going to get home, and Daddy will make you whatever you want. Okay. So we start going. Now, get ready. Your moment is coming. So I'm going to slide in here. So we come up. We go over 80. We're coming over the 80 bridge into, like, LeClaire. Okay?
Right.
And as you're coming over, so we're heading west, you can see this storm coming. And you can look at this thing, and you're like, shit. I screwed up. I should not be out here right now.
Right.
Like, this does not look good. But I'm like, it's far enough away. Again, typically from what we know,
yeah,
that's far enough away.
Based on your knowledge,
I'm going to be fine.
Yeah. Just get booking.
So I didn't even think it that bad. I'm like, let's turn, let's go.
You see that? I got the gas. Just down on the floor.
LeClaire, home of the cops pull you over for whatever.
Well, you got to make it through those towns, but as soon as you hit outside the town, it's like this. Congratulations, you want to pull me over, but I'm leaving.
I'm going to get to that point. I'm glad you said that, because now is the time. Now it's about 2 o'clock. So I'm going to pause my story.
Okay.
We'll come back to it based on that comment right there. Once you get through those towns, then you book it.
Right.
So go.
So 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when I go to sleep, I have blackout blinds or blackout curtains in my room.
I want you, hold on. When the winds hit, I'm going to pause you and I'll come back.
Okay, I'll tell you. And apparently, my dumbass forgot to close my garage door. Truck's in the garage. I just forgot to close the door before I left. It's August 10th, and it really didn't matter. I didn't know it was supposed to rain. I didn't know it was supposed to do anything. But I'm sleeping comfortably. Of course, but my spidey senses are just there. And I can hear there's always a box fan blowing on me. Always. Wintertime, summertime, doesn't matter.
You're one of those. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm one of those. And I can hear it shut off. And my eyes open as I look at the fan, and it's winding down. And I'm like, did I just lose power right now? Like, what the hell's going on? So I get up. Of course, I walk out, open the front door. And if you look across the street, not where the one that lady lives, but next door, there's about 4 or 5, maybe 3 trees full-grown trees.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're big-ass trees. These things are at 45-degree angles. And I'm like, what is happening right now?
Okay, pause.
At one point in time, my neighbors, Nate and Stacy, had a gazebo, or like a little gazebo thing that he didn't nail down.
Oh, I understand.
And it ended up in my yard. We got it picked up, put back up, and he secured it to the ground. So it's secured to his patio behind his garage. Mm-hmm. This thing is folded over like a tent. Mm-hmm. Just a cheap tent. It was pretty structural stuff. So, it's not like a cheap gazebo. This thing was pretty expensive. This thing is, but it's secured with Tapcon screws to the cement. It ain't moving. This thing is, and I put it down a couple times to stop the wind from getting it. I think I might have done it.
Listen, just hearing this, my anxiety is like.
I think I might have done it that day. I think I might have made it out. I don't know if I made it out that day, because I think by the time I woke up, this thing was folded over like an accordion. And I'm like, what is happening? I open up my back door, and all the leaves from the trees, my truck's white. It's green. Yeah. Just covered in leaves. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what is going on? Open up my cell phone. No cell service.
Nope.
No power, no cell service. Of course, the only thing I'm thinking of is, okay, I need to go check on My children, my ex-wife, they're all at her apartment. I said, whatever's going on, I leave. And as I'm driving from my house to her apartment, I have to take detours because there's full-grown trees just, 6 foot wide. Chucked. Like Paul Bunyan took a twig and just threw it. They're gone everywhere. I'm like...
And you were just going up 19th.
I couldn't go up 19th.
You were just going to go, you had a little bit. So
yeah, I don't have that far to go.
So here's where I'll go. So so here we go. So again, we're gonna backtrack just a little bit to, you just got to make it through them small towns, and then you floor it. I made it to the north side of the Clare, and the storm hit.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. Like that little liquor store gas station thing right there on the north side.
Yeah.
Not even the quarry. Not the quarry.
I know.
Yeah.
Little gas station, yeah.
Hit. Yeah. So, from the Clare...
All I picture right now is Armageddon.
Oh, hold on.
When when they blow up the rock, and then it, shoots over top of the ships that are sailing in it.
Yeah.
Or,
very similar.
Like Independence Day when everything
So,
explodes. You're just going through rocky stuff, everything.
So we come out of it. So typically from basically that point to my house, about 20 minutes. 25 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. You're close. Give or take.
45 minutes to the Painted Rock at the end of the bluff on manufacturing.
Yeah.
Sorry, street names people don't know, but you know.
I know where you're at.
So so 25 minutes to my house, we're talking 15, 20 minutes from there to that point. 45 minutes. We get out of LeClaire and that river road there, you're talking about the trees, the 45. We saw trees that were coming down on that left side over the road that aren't over the road.
Yeah.
And big chunks of trees, garbage cans whipping across the road. Now, from LeClaire to Princeton, it was kind of like, okay, fun, ha-ha. Here's all the cool stuff blown away.
Like the scene in Twister.
And that was like the
cow floats by?
We weren't to that level yet.
You're getting there?
So, we got from LeClaire to Princeton, okay, I had the girls call them, okay, this sucks. We got to Princeton. Okay, so Princeton's pretty blocked. So we got through Princeton, not too bad. We get out of Princeton, and of course, that's wide open.
You go on the way to Follett, you go past those little S-curves, and that's nothing but open space.
Oh, I'm aware.
And trees galore.
I'm aware.
Yeah. I'm sure.
The windshield wipers were having extreme difficulty keeping up.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it.
I was basically white-knuckled grandma driving, up on the steering wheel. Girls at this point are freaking out because the wind's pushing the van. The van is, you can feel the van tipping with the wind. And it's like, shoot, do I just pull over?
I would have.
Well,
but you can't.
If you pull
in
over,
the open, no.
Here's the thing, you pull over and you're in the open and the thing's going to just tip you over.
But in the open,
every time the wind would push, I could at least turn a little left and then kind of right it. So we got up to Follett's right there before the big curve and big ass tree all the way down. We ended up getting around. And we got back to town, and just like you're saying, we had maybe 10 minutes from where we got to that to get to the house. And it took us almost an hour to get home. A trip that typically takes 8 to 10 minutes. Not even that, 5 minutes from that point to get to my house. It took us an hour. Because every access, it was, just full trees, power lines, everything. It was crazy. So we finally get to the house. And, of course, no power. And the girl's playset is tipped over.
Oh, yeah.
Survived.
Nice. Silver lining.
So, yeah. So, fast forward on that. Broke 3 boards. We got it uprighted. It actually tipped over twice since then. We now have it staked to the ground. But the company, there was the 3 boards. I just need to buy these 3 boards. They said, well, we'll just ship them to you. Because I told them what happened. So, yeah, 3 boards, free. Fixed it. Insurance payment for the whole thing. So we get home and it's like, shit. Gazebo, like Nate's gazebo was folded like a tent. Mine was ripped up there were pieces all over my yard. One of my chairs was down the hill.
Yeah, but you couldn't stake yours to the ground.
Right? I could.
Well, you could, but
it was. It was screw staked to the ground.
His was tap-conned into cement.
Yeah. Mine was like...
And it's, probably kind of like yours. I mean, it was pretty good structural steel. I mean, not,
You gotta
steel
remember,
steel.
mine was like the curly Q stakes.
Yes, but
It
his
went
is
into the ground.
all 4 legs Tapcon, and this thing took it like this and just snapped.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't snap it, I don't think, but all the metal legs and all the metal thing was just bent over and whatnot. I know at the end of my street, out my driveway down to the left, down to the corner, somebody's trampoline was there.
Yeah.
We don't know anybody that's got a trampoline around us, so I don't know where that came from.
Yeah. So, I mean, we got home, no power, so we're just making the best we can, surveying the damage. It's like, Jesus, my neighbor's trees roll over.
How long were you out of power?
So that was on a Monday. We got power back the Sunday at 8:30 at night.
Yeah, I got power back the following Tuesday. I was without power for 8 days.
So I think just looking at the time, because I think the derecho can go. I think what we're going to do is we're going to finish up this derecho story, and I think we're going to have to finish up 2020 next week. So anyway, let's continue the derecho.
Excuse me.
So, Kathy comes home. I mean, it's a disaster. I'm just like, man, like the gazebo's trashed. I got my neighbor's trees have blown up the entire backside of my house. And I go back and I look and I'm like, shit, my gas meter got hit.
Oh, crap.
So it was crooked. The glass was broken. I'm like, oh, no. So we called Alliant, after forever getting through. I was like, hey, here's what's up. And well, then they finally go, well, call 911. You mother.
Well, okay.
So I called them, and then to their credit, they showed up. I mean, they were there within 15 minutes.
Well, you're talking about a gas leak.
And what's crazy is, well, no, they like Alliant themselves, like, well, we'll get you on the list, but call, this.
Because I'm sure.
So we called in, and so dispatch said, well, we'll get the fire department up there. So, and of course, one of my buddies is one of the UCs in town, and if he heard the name, so he came up. I had truck 190 Haas, Eric Kozep's truck.
Oh yeah.
Was here, and Alliant showed up before them, and it was all good. But the folks took the girls. Me and Kathy spent the next several hours cleaning up the best we could outside.
Mm-hmm.
We both got stung by the same bee, which was awesome.
That's not awesome at all.
And we, so it was like that. And then, of course, her working at Fairway, they had lost power for several hours, so we ended up at like 9:30, went up to Fairway, and spent the next, 3 hours up there loading stuff onto a
freezer truck. Yeah.
The next day rolls around, and we stayed at the house, no power, we stayed there. It was what it was. Fortunate enough, before Kathy got off, Chris called from the shop, and they had power, so I went down there to charge my phone. And the next day I went to work like normal, and my buddy Brent said, hey man, do you need a hotel room? I'll get you booked up, I'll give you my rate. So we lived in a hotel for a week, and we were very, very fortunate. I'm going to end with this. I'm going to let Matty finish up his story, but I'm going to end with this. We were very, very fortunate through the whole thing that losing power and everything was great. With the Harley shop, like my garage freezer and our kitchen freezer, we had a chest freezer at the shop, and then we had the freezer in the break room. That food went up there. My chest freezer down here, I took over to the restaurant. They weren't open yet, and we hauled it over there. We plugged it in. So my chest freezer was plugged in their kitchen. Our refrigerator stuff was in their cooler. My craft beer was in their cooled prep table. So when they were doing all the derecho meals, when we were sitting there prepping food stuff, you turn around and all the prep table stuff is there. You open that door with usually like your tomatoes, your cheese, your sucker. Go with that beer. So we had we lost some condiments, but that was it.
I lost about $500 worth of food.
Yes, we did. Nothing.
And it wasn't like I had coolers packed with ice, and ice
probably
was
lost $50 worth of
ice.
$60 worth of condiments.
Ice was probably what? It was like finding gold.
Hard to find.
Yeah, you couldn't find it anywhere. But that losing that much money in food and all the stuff that I had, because I had a lot of stuff in the fridge, and my father took a lot of it up to his freezer because he got power back a lot sooner than I did. Excuse me. But that was, I think, the worst part of that for me. What I always say, what I always say to look at the silver lining. The silver lining for me was my job never lost any power because they run on their own. So I still got to go to work, charge my stuff when I was there, like my phone when I was there, and then I got to spend a lot of time with my neighbors, having bonfires, sitting out. It's like we couldn't do much, cooking out. Neither one of us had power. We sit outside all night and be like, man, I wonder when we're ever going to have power again.
Right.
But it
was crazy.
He had his Blackstone that, runs on propane. I had the smoker, which, just cook some food and have some fun.
Yeah, it's really the opposite because we were living at the hotel. And
the only thing that made me angry with that whole derecho was the amount of national media coverage that received.
None.
Because I watched, none of them that I know personally, but farmers across the state of Iowa, a few people that I know that worked for farmers, like in DeWitt and outside of them. I mean, you're talking silos, corn bins, millions of dollars worth of equipment, millions of dollars worth of crops, just devastated. And not a word was spoken.
Yeah.
Not a word was spoken about.
And I mean, if you consider statewide, of course, the whole state was affected. But the thing you got to realize is the hardest hit area was Cedar Rapids. Cedar Rapids got destroyed.
Yeah, destroyed. They were without power for years, and they were without power for weeks.
We were the second hardest hit part of the state. Sustained winds of 140 miles an hour.
130 here.
That's right, 140 in Cedar Rapids,
130 here. The best part about it to me was watching.
Hold on, say that again out loud.
What?
130 mile an hour winds. Like people used to, before that happened, if someone said we're gonna have sustained winds of like 40, 50 miles an hour, people were like, oh crap. 40 or 50. 130.
Yeah.
And you think of it this way, so your coastal cities, hurricane areas, they're like, hey, a hurricane's going to be here in a couple weeks. You got some time to prepare. We had about 45 minutes.
Yeah, max.
They're like, it's in Cedar Rapids. Okay, it'll be here in a little bit. Nope.
It was here.
Just crazy.
The best part about it to me was not even like the media coverage pissed me off. Watching the devastation of what people went through. No power. They're losing this. They're losing that. I still got to go to work. I was still making money. No big deal. To me, watching everybody, not just in our community, but pretty much the entire state.
Oh, absolutely.
First of all,
yep.
When I told you earlier in the episode that mass media just pisses me off because it's nothing but negativity. Mm-hmm. To watch, and I had to watch it through Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram or whatever.
I watched it on my street.
Right. But I mean, from where you see from statewide,
yeah,
it's like the amount of like this is what Midwesterners do. This is what we do. I mean, not just Iowa, but Midwesterners in total. We don't need national media coverage for us to say, hey, my neighbor needs help. I'm going to go over and help him. This guy needs help. I don't know you, but I'm going to help you. This is what we do. And we did
I
that.
Totally agree.
I watched Interstate Power or Alliant or whoever, ComEd, from wherever they came from. Because some people came from Louisiana, I think, Alabama. These dudes that are linemen, workers that work in power, they came in truckloads. I mean, just convoys of power trucks. And they were here for weeks away from their families.
Okay. And they had just come from the East Coast.
Yeah. Not once did they bitch. Not once did they bitch. Not once did they moan. They just was like, this is our job. Work's got to be done.
I remember.
Let's get to work.
I'm gonna end with this. I remember when they came up. We finally, after being in the hotel Tuesday through Saturday, Sunday we checked out. Like that's it. I'm not staying in the hotel anymore. I'm over it. Just done. My one boss had power back, so I'm like, well, hey, we'll just borrow your generator. We'll get we'll be fine. And we got up to the house. We weren't there, but I mean, half hour, and the line workers showed up, and I was just like, I was in awe, and I'm like, okay, we had just come, and we had a whole bunch of food. We had brought from the restaurant that they had left over, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it, warmed it up. I took it out. Here you go. Here's this. We brought sodas, this, whatever. It's like, guys, here's the deal. I got places to go. We got places to be. I left my house, and like I said, that house right there. Go in the door. Told them right where the bathroom was. You got to use the bathroom, whatever. You take a break. Go on in.
The amount of time I was out and
it was
either
awesome,
at work
so-
or whatnot, I never ran across any power company guys. And it sucked. I can tell you right now, it sucked not having power for 8 days. And I watched power get restored 2 blocks from me 3 days before I did.
Mhm.
And I, just like any normal human being, I'm like, damn, what is
Yeah, they
going
have
on?
power
How
down
come
here.
how come they have power
Probably
here,
for
but I
you.
don't have power here? But not once did I sit there and go, what the hell are these people doing, man? Like, get your butt down here and get to work. It's like, I know you got stuff. Like, you're
Yeah.
busy wherever. Like,
And
it'll
what's
be all right.
crazy is they're not done.
You guys keep working, do what you got to do.
Yeah, well, they're not even done yet. Everything that's up for the most part is not temporary, but it's not finalized.
Oh, that
It's just strung up.
they had a
quick.
temporary pole put up on 19th.
Yeah,
2 blocks from me.
yeah.
That the one pole that snapped in half was literally hanging there for a month.
Yeah, and they still got something.
And it was like this. And they were nowhere near close to being done.
No, and they're still not.
No.
No. So on that note, guys, we're gonna close this episode out.
I don't think we have to close out the episode as much as we can close out. We can close out the entire 2020. I don't think it got worse after that.
Oh, you don't think so?
No.
We're not gonna
What-
talk about
what-
the rest of 2020.
What was worse?
Oh, it's going worse. There's more stuff.
What
I
happened?
mean, my 40th birthday,
I didn't get to attend.
because
I
I was
was-
living in a hotel during the Dre show.
I know. I apologize. I didn't get to attend. It was like got off work and
Yeah.
no power still.
You know what? You're right. I say this. So you fast forward. The kids got to go back to school.
Yes, my
My
son began.
so
My
that was
oldest son
good.
began high school, which was a
Um,
little different.
I'm just checklisting now. So the kids got to go back to school. They've been in school the whole time. They haven't had to. They take a small break there around Thanksgiving, which was fine.
I think it was much deserved too, because they've been working hard.
You got the Rona. I had
That was not
quar-
till December.
I had to quarantine. Thanksgiving was a little bit different. Christmas was a little bit different.
It was, but I can say as this like
You know what, though?
I always talk about look at the bright side.
We made it.
I got to experience a lot of things that I never got to experience in 2020. A lot of it was not, while most people would look at it like a positive thing. I got to buy a house. I got to meet great people who became some of my best friends. They become like family to me. Of course, my sister got engaged at the end of the year.
The big thing.
We began this
The
podcast. I
That
had
was
a
pretty
I
awesome.
had a brainstorm idea. I gave it to Pete, and he
Yeah,
ran with it
that
like
worked. So of
Barry
course
Sanders.
we met Maggie.
We did.
None of this would be possible without her.
My first Christmas in the new house. Of course,
Yeah.
was this your first Christmas
No.
here?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nope.
My first Christmas in the new house.
We closed 10/20 of last year, and I remember that because the first day in the house was 10/21. Because it's written right here on the bar.
I remember because I remember
so
getting a call like,
it's
"Hey, I'm going to come to you. You got to come to my house." And I was like, "Okay." Hey, you got to show up here instead of here. I'm like, "Why?" We moved.
We moved.
What?
Yeah, I forgot to tell you.
Yeah. Thanks
So,
for that. First
so,
Christmas
yeah,
in the new
just-
house. Kids had a great Christmas.
We've had some good times.
Thanksgiving was great. We got to have Halloween. I got to go trick or treating with my kids. That was fun. We had a great night that night. It's been a shitty year,
Yes.
but it hasn't been a shitty year.
Yeah, I think for every negative there was a positive. For like, oh crap, the kids can't go to school. Okay, well we got to spend more time with them.
I still use the phrase
You know,
like
where,
when something
like,
goes
for
wrong.
Me, it's like, oh, I had to
2020.
self isolate down in my basement for 2 weeks, so my kids and wife could go to school and to work.
Right.
I mean, I got a lot of stuff done around the house. You know, so
Yeah, like I can't. There's a lot of things to complain about, but I don't like to complain.
No.
I guess because it's like, what good does it do? Like, there are people worse off than me.
Yeah.
Much worse off. So it's like I'm still blessed to wake up every day, go to work, have friends and family that I truly love. That we've been blessed to start a podcast. I got a house. I mean, there was so much to be thankful for in 2020 that I don't want to complain about the bad that happened in 2020.
Yeah. I think
I'm never going to stop using the phrase 2020 as in like this. That was a shit year.
Yeah.
Like
But I
it's
think-
just 2020. That's what happened.
I think you look at with 2020 is you talk about, you don't complain about, you talk about the bad stuff. but then you enjoy telling the stories of the good stuff.
I'm going to tell you one thing right now. Years from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, whatever it is, we will be sitting around a fire every year almost, probably, from here until then, with a cigar and a beer, or sitting around the grill, or sitting with friends and family, just doing everything, just laughing at these stories.
Yes.
Having fun with these stories, because it's like this. Man, I mean, that was just, it sucked. Yeah, but at the same time, it didn't.
Yeah.
A whole lot of good things happened. I think that, especially to me and you, our friendship has grown immensely this year, basically just on this. But
yeah, you have to take the positive.
You have to look at it like that.
You can sit there and complain about the negative. Oh, I got to wear a mask at work. I got to do. It's all good. So
I don't want to get into that debate.
I think on that note, because I think we could go for another hour.
Yes.
But Miss Maggie would probably.
She would smack us if she was here.
Of course, we don't have a final beer to review because Matty was just enjoying the Coors Lights. I did like mid-episode, he had opened a new beer and was all worried about the can opening noise.
Well, I didn't want to. I mean, you were worried about the heater when we started.
Thing is,
you worried about the heater when we started. You want me to talk about background?
I did. By the way, so Blonde Brothers Distilling.
Trying to be courteous.
Enjoyed that vodka. Also went with the River Pilot vodka from Mississippi Distillery, which is down in LeClaire. And to finish it off, I'm having some 45th Parallel vodka, which is from Wisconsin.
Ooh, boy.
Which is really, really good. So,
one of my favorite states based on my football team.
So as we do every episode, I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of this journey, and we love all the action and the excitement we're getting on Facebook. We'd love to see that translate into the YouTube. I know a lot of you like the Facebook page and follow the Facebook page, so make sure you're clicking on that.
The like button, the subscribe button.
I haven't got to that yet.
Well, we're getting to it. We're all rolling it in because we're trying to roll it up. But the comment button is the one I really want to push. And
the view button, that's the other one.
Yeah,
that's a big one. I know you guys hear about us and you want us to do well. You gotta. Even if you listen to it, a little bit here, a little bit there, we'd love for you to listen to this stuff, guys. I mean, we love recording it.
We do.
If we get 6 views or 10 views or 2 views, we're still going to keep doing it.
I think we get a whole lot more views when we move to video and they can look at our pretty faces.
Yes.
Our bearded, glorious bearded faces.
So on that, guys, on behalf of myself, the Shmoo, my partner in crime, Matty.
As you are listening to this right now,
it
is
lovely producer, Miss Maggie.
Probably about 11 o'clock Friday morning.
We're probably right there. We're close.
January 1st, 2021. As we reminisce about the past year that we just got done barrel rolling through.
We made it.
We want to wish you all a very, very happy New Year.
Yes. Best wishes for 2021.
Try to remember to do that. I mean, look at what 2020 brought us. Just a shitstorm, and it sucked.
It can't get worse.
But look at all the positive that probably came out of that year that you weren't even thinking about. Let's try to make. We're going to try to build on that. 2021 is going to be the year of the Double BS podcast. We're gonna.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have to take this thing to new heights.
We will get it. So, guys, on that, I'm gonna give a clinky.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's.
We love you.
We do.
We appreciate all the support.
Thank you so much. And
enjoy the rest of your day. I'm sure most of you people are off work.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, if you have it, I will not be. I will be at work. I'm at work at the moment.
You're not going over to drink.
So, guys, that night I got to get this.
We'll look forward to
2021 is going to be huge.
Again, with the comment button, give us some ideas. What do you want to hear? So,
yes,
guys, thank you so much. We're going to get out of here. It's that time of the day to call it a day. Guys, Happy New Year. Best wishes. Best of luck.
Started off right.
Love from us. Cheers.
Love you.